Especially.
Yes.
This meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education is called to order here on the 8th day of November, 2021. We are certainly happy that you are here with us today. I know many of you are probably looking forward to our honors and recognitions, which we all look forward to, and that'll come up here shortly. Also, you probably are well aware that on Thursday, everybody will be out of school. That is Veterans Day. It's the only day of the year that's designated by the state that we cannot be in school. So there will be no school on Thursday, the 11th. And certainly we want to be cognizant of all those who are veterans. And if you would please, we'd like to have, if you are a veteran, if you would please stand, we'd like to recognize you. If you would stand at this time. Thank you so much, and certainly thank you for your service. And you know, our country is very appreciative of all of our veterans that have through the years meant so much to the success of our country. We're going to move on with the agenda, and I'd like to recognize Mr. Joe Sims to do the invocation for the board.
Thank you, Chairman Pennell. Well, Chairman Pennell must have read my notes, because I was going to have recognize veterans and have you stand, so you've already done that. But the thing I was going to follow that up with, and Darrell sort of alluded to it, they are the reason that we're allowed to be able to have a meeting, a public meeting, and to run our country as it's run. Whether it's good, bad in your mind, we're blessed to be where we're at. We're blessed to have people that have served in the past and currently are serving and protecting our freedoms throughout this world and throughout our United States. And November 11th is the day set aside, but I encourage you to think of veteran. There's a lot of them you'll see with their hats and something that lets you know that they are a veteran. And I encourage you just to tell them thank you. A lot of them don't really get that thank you that they deserve, and they didn't get the thank you they deserve. So I just encourage you to do that. And with that, I'd like for us to have a moment of silence just to meditate and think about how we can respect our military. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. At this point, we would like to invite you to stand with us as we do the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Dr. Katrina McKellen. to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and we're going to move along. Next item is the approval of the agenda, which the board has had opportunity to review. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as presented?
Move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is a series of minutes that we will approve in one vote. First of all, we have the work session minutes of October the 5th, 2021. And we also have a closed session minutes and general account of October 5th, 2021. In addition, our regular board meeting on October the 11th, 2021. And also, we had a closed session minutes and general account October 11th, 2021. That being the case, do I hear that we approve the October minutes? Those are items 3B through 3E. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, the next item on our agenda is announcements, and I'd like to recognize fellow board member, Mr. Chris Becker.
Chairman Pennell, I too wanted to mention Veterans Day, and I'll be honest with you, maybe I should be embarrassed that I don't know what I'm getting ready to tell you, but I can probably assure you I was paying really close attention in history class the day that we went over this. I just don't remember it. I was probably doing some work, paying attention and trying to get something done back in high school. But in 1954, Veterans Day changed from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. I honestly, I'm a veteran and I didn't know that. Maybe I should be embarrassed, but maybe I'm among the others that didn't know that as well. So, and back in those days, it was more of they recognized veterans who had participated in a war and people that were hurt in the war versus all veterans. In 1954, when they named it Veterans Day, it became all military personnel. So again, not trying to give a history lesson here, but I thought it was kind of funny. I didn't know that, and being a veteran myself. So another holiday coming up. We have November the 24th is an optional planning day, and then the 25th and 26th are the holiday. Our normal board work session, December the 7th, and then our normal monthly board meeting, December the 13th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. I'd like to ask our superintendent, Dr. Don Phipps, to add some additional announcements.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I don't want to let it pass that I don't also say thank you to our veterans. My first recollection as a child, and I think back to really early memory, the first memory that I can remember having, I was a little boy looking out of a picture window, and a gentleman got out of a car with an Air Force uniform on and a bag, and it was my dad coming back from Vietnam. And my twin brother and I had been born while he was overseas. And I know, because we've lived at the struggle that veterans' families have, and I can't imagine what our actual veterans go through. So I want to echo the thank you to our veterans and to the families that support them. And there's a sign on the VA hospital in Fayetteville. That's where I'm from. I don't know if it's on all the VA hospitals, but it says the price of freedom is visible here. And no truer words, I think, are on any building than that. So for all of our veterans, we are so grateful for what you've done and the freedoms that you've allowed us. The other thing I wanted to announce was that last week I had an opportunity to be across the street where the Foundation for Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute recognized a Dream Scholars program. And this was for the 2020 and the 2021 school year, where first-generation sixth-grade college-going students, if you can think about college going in sixth grade, these students of promise were nominated and selected by a group, and they'll receive 5 semesters tuition and books paid completely free. So the obstacles of being able to go to college have been removed for these students. And it was announced then that this program's been going on since 1989, and they've awarded 1,364 of these awards. So I'd like to ask you just to join me in giving a round of applause to this foundation and from the community college in their work. We want to thank them, and we want to congratulate those 6th graders and now the 7th graders for their recognition for this honor.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is our honors and recognition part of the program tonight. And I'd like to recognize Mrs. Libby Brown. She's the Community Relations Director who will lead us during this part of our agenda.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Branch, board members, and Dr. Phipps. It's a great pleasure to see our parents and our teachers and our principals and administrators here this evening to celebrate our students and our employees of the Caldwell County School System and to receive honors and recognition from the Board of Education. Again, we have beautiful artwork in the Education Center. It's adorning our hallways. So we're going to start out with our budding artists that are in our school system, where we're so proud of you. We're going to start with Lower Creek Elementary School, and Brooke Cooper is the principal. Hannah Bryant is the art teacher. We have artwork from Jonathan McQuarrie, 5th grade, and Trinity Ouellette, 5th grade. So Miss Cooper and Miss Bryant, I'm not sure if your students are here, but if you two would like to come up and receive the certificates.
I think one of them's here.
Is one here? You made it. Wonderful. Let's give her a big round of applause. So Trinity is here. We're very proud of you. And we did have a slideshow, but I'm not sure if it's up and running, but as we do the announcements, you can see some of the pictures that are up there of their artwork. Dudley Shoals Elementary, Ryan Cooper is the principal, and Alexis Buchanan is the art teacher. We have Lillian Kersey, first grade, and Aubrey Sean, 5th grade. From, how do you pronounce that last name? Sean. Thank you. So we're proud of you. Are you one of those? Come on up and get recognition. Yeah, let's have the students to stay up here because we're going to try to get a picture. We'll just keep you safely distanced. So Trinity, if you'll come on back up, and we're going to try to get a nice picture with the board members behind you. And we'll do another elementary school because we have the 3 elementary schools. We have Sawmills Elementary, Jenny Fry is principal, and Brad Wright is the art teacher. So we have Armani Alviso, 5th grade, Dixie Price, 3rd grade, Ella Birchfield, 4th grade, Are you Ella? That's Dixie. Here's Ella. Good. We've got a certificate for you. Breeley Bentley, 3rd grade. We're so glad you can make it out tonight. We understand that some students cannot, and they have other conflicts. And Chloe Miller, 5th grade. Chloe Miller. Ooh, we have a big crowd from Sawville tonight. Would you like to just get a picture of let's get a picture of our elementary students. And parents, and teachers are more than welcome to stand up and get pictures also. And we have James, did you get one? Okay, good. So let's give this. James, oh, you have it, okay.
Can I get the three shorter to step forward 2 feet, and then the 3 taller to step behind them?
Yeah, that way we can. Great job. We have Gateway students, so we have some high school students. Aiden Ryder is 10th grade. Corey Mode is a senior. And Christopher Smith is a freshman. And we have Bill Schreiber with us, the principal. Bill, who's one of our veterans. And Elizabeth Farmer is the art teacher. We also have Granite Falls Middle, Chris Ackerman, principal, and Amelia Hefner, art teacher, Whitley, Maine, 8th grade. I'm not sure if they're here this evening. Okay, we'll get their certificate. But if you have another chance, please walk the hallway, because there's some beautiful artwork there from our students in the Caldwell County schools, and it's just a delight to see the talent that they are developing in art. So let's give them a big round of applause. Next, we have Character Education Trait of the Month. The character trait for the month of October was respectfulness. And you think, well, what is respectfulness? And you hear some people saying, well, kids don't know respect these days. Well, we do have a lot of students who know and understand respect. Respectfulness, showing respect and deep admiration for others and having sensitivity and regard for people's feelings, rights, or traditions. So we'd like to recognize 3 students this evening, one from the different grade levels from elementary, middle, and high. And some of the comments we've heard is that they're the kindest students that they've been around, that they know that they're always respectful. And you hear this from their teachers, you hear it from the principals. So we're going to start out with the elementary representative for respectfulness, and that is Robert Acosta from Davenport A+ School, 5th grade. And Jessica Anthony is the principal. She is out of town, so Tracy Harris, the assistant principal, is here. Tracy, come on up. For the middle school level, we have Titus Felmley, and that's from William Lenore Middle School, 7th grade. And Lisa Vaughn, principal. I know I saw Lisa earlier, so I know she's here, and I'm not sure. So here's our respectful students. At the high school level, we have Gavin Johnson. And Gavin is a junior at Caldwell Applied Sciences Academy. Andy Poole, principal. The proud principal is here with Gavin and cannot say enough kind words about this young man. So we're very proud of all 3 of you for being the example of respectfulness to not only your family and your friends, but to your classmates at school. So let's give them all a big round of applause.
Congratulations.
William Lenore Middle School students participated in the Fall Model UN Conference at ASU held last month. And they had eager participants because this was put on hold for several years. But I don't know if you remember, we would recognize our Model UN at the high school level, at the middle school level. So it's so nice to see our students participating in this simulation of the real United Nations that meets in New York. And club members pose as diplomats from nations around the world. They learn parliamentary procedure, research and writing skills, and problem solving. Topics discussed range from war, conflict, to the environment, to natural disasters, to issues affecting women and children, and much more. So what an excellent lesson for them. Tom Haney is the teacher at William Lenore Middle School, and he's the club advisor. And Lisa Vaughn, again, she's having a great night tonight here with honors, is the principal at William Lenore Middle School. I would like to recognize those students who actually received recognition as Best Delegation or Excellent Delegation or Outstanding Delegation or Honorable Mention. So for the country of Ireland, Anna Foresti, 7th grade. Waylon Williams, 7th grade. Best Large Delegation. So if they're here. Oh, and Tom, please, Mr. Hayes, they're not here. On their behalf. For the country of Australia, Lily Edwards, 7th grade. Natalie Roten, 7th grade. Excellent delegation. Russia, Emma Combs, 7th grade. Harper Goodfellow, 7th grade, for outstanding delegation. For the country of Denmark, Addison Hildebrand, 7th grade. Mackenzie James, 7th grade. And they received honorable mention. So we're going to, if you'll get in the center with Mr. Haney, if you'll get with your students, and Mrs. Vaughn, if you'll get in there. It is quite a feat because it is a debate. Mr. Haney, do you want to say anything just about the process, because you've done this for years?
Well, I did debating for quite a while when I was at Hudson, and I was looking for something more. And I contacted, a lot of you may know Tom Perry, who taught at South for a long time, and he got me started in this farm system for several years. And it's just a passion, because they learn so much. And you get to work with a lot of great kids.
That's right, that's right. So we're going to get your picture now and let the parents have their turn first. Because we want to make sure our students are in the spotlight. And then James, if you'd like to get a photograph. So let's give him
Congratulations.
another round of applause. Very proud of you. They're learning debate and all about world history. Now we'd like to recognize finally one of our own employees. And if Jay McCarrer from the Transportation Department, our Director of Transportation, would come forward. Jay is not only the Transportation Director, he has a passion for officiating wrestling matches. And he could probably teach us all a little bit about WWE too, couldn't you? But we're so proud of him. He received the esteemed Dick Knox Distinguished Service Award for devoted service to young student athletes, presented by the North Carolina Athletic Officials Association. So Jay has served as a high school wrestling officiator at the local, state, and national levels for the last 10 years. So he loves it, he enjoys it, they love him apparently, and we're just so proud of him. This honor is not handed out freely, and I think Jay is the first in our area to receive this Distinguished Service Award. So we won't ask you to do any moves, but we're very, very proud of you. So let's give him a big round of applause.
Do a shuffle. 3 feet. Make it bounce. Thank you.
Good job, Jay.
Thank you. And again, if you have a pen, take a look at the artwork. Thank you, that's all. Chairman. Bill is next. Bill is going to introduce one of our student teachers.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chair Branch, members of the board, Dr. Phipps. At this time, I'd like to recognize our student teachers that we had this fall in Caldwell County School System. We had 11 individuals that represented their university and worked within our classrooms with our master teachers, and I hope that they gained a valuable experience. We've asked those individuals to come this evening. And ultimately, tonight, I just wanted to congratulate them on picking an outstanding career, one that is extremely valuable to not only them, but many children that they'll have an impact on here for many years to come. I'd also like to say that we do have some job vacancies in Caldwell County, and we're looking for great educators moving forward. If you haven't already been hired, we will have vacancies now, and we'll certainly have some in the spring of the year when we have most of our retirements as we move forward. But, you know, I've been asked multiple times, what does the pipeline for educators look like? Well, for Caldwell County, we've been blessed. And we have a great school system, and I think people are very attracted to our school system. And we look forward to hopefully working with some of these young and fine student teachers in the years to come. So this time I'd just like to recognize them. Let you as a Board of Education see our future and what that looks like for us moving forward. From Appalachian State University, Casey Abey with the Collinsville School. Casey here, great. And Dr. Phipps has a pen for you. From WGU, John Alford from Granite Falls Middle and Kings Creek School. Thank you, John. From ASU, Baramai, close. I tried. Congratulations. Thank you for helping us this year. From ASU, Caitlin Earp, Kings Creek. Also from ASU, Brittany Edmonston, Collinsville. From ASU, Logan King, Granite Falls Elementary. From ASU, Kelsey Little, Collinsville. And finally, from ASU, Alexis Whitaker, Sawmills Elementary. Hopefully I got everyone. Thank you, guys. I hope you had a wonderful experience with Caldwell County Schools, and certainly we learn from you as much as you learn from our master teachers, and hopefully you'll be part of our family moving forward. Did I get everybody? Okay. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
To all our student teachers, certainly, we do thank you so much, and hope that down the road you'll find your way back to Caldwell County here. We value good teachers, and we certainly know that we have a number of very fine student teachers from the various universities. Let me just say at this point, if you, this will be an appropriate time before we get into our business session. If you want to go home for dinner or homework or whatever, now would be the appropriate time. But thank you so much for being here. So, read in, and then I'll turn it over to you. Okay, we'll continue on with the agenda. Next is public comment, and I'm going to turn it over at this point to Dr. Phipps.
I just wanted to read the regulation which is 2310 that goes along with the public comment. And this is just the statement that we have here. Welcome to the Caldwell County Board of Education meeting. We now invite comments during the public comment period of the monthly board meeting. This time is set aside for the board to hear comments on programs, policies, and procedures. The board typically will not respond to the concerns expressed, but please be assured that we take all comments under appropriate advisement. To conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient manner, the following guidelines have been established. Individuals requesting to speak during public comment may sign up using the form on Caldwell County Schools website. The cutoff time to sign up to speak during the public comment period is 9:30 a.m. on the day of the meetings. Groups with a common issue are advised to select one spokesperson. Number 3, comments must be issue-oriented. Complaints against any employee will not be heard in public session and should be submitted initially to the superintendent. Proper decorum and civility is expected of all speakers. Speakers must refrain from personal attacks, insults, displays of temper, or abusive language directed at the board, individual board members, staff, or members of the general public. In such cases, the board chair may terminate the speaker's time. To maximize participation, comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. A timer will appear on the screen and an alarm will indicate the speaker has used the allotted 3 minutes. The total time set aside for public comment period is 21 minutes, and I'll be keeping the time tonight. Speakers may not yield or give their time to other speakers or trade their time slot with another speaker. In an effort to ensure the board receives time-sensitive feedback from individuals who wish to share concerns about topics on the agenda, speakers addressing items on the board's monthly meeting agenda will speak first. The chair or designee will invite to the microphone those who registered to speak. Please begin by stating your full name. Persons who interrupt, disrupt, or cause disturbance at the meeting may be directed to leave by the board chair or presiding officer.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. Our first person who has signed up for public comment is Rosanna McDonald.
Good evening. My name is Rosanna McDonald. I live in Lenore. I'm here to address allegations at the last board meeting that critical race theory is in our schools and a request for a zero-tolerance CRT policy. CRT was developed in the 70s by legal scholars in response to abject post-civil rights racial inequality. Here's a definition from the American Bar Association. CRT is a practice of interrogating the role of race and racism in a society that emerged in the legal academy. It critiques how the social construction of race and institutionalized racism perpetuate the racial caste system that relegates people of color to the bottom tiers. It acknowledges that the legacy of slavery, segregation, and the imposition of second-class citizenship on Black Americans and other people of color continue to permeate the social fabric of this nation. I looked into allegations made at the last board meeting that The Hate U Give is being used to teach CRT at Gardner-Webb and Caldwell schools, and that a parent complained about the book and the principal let it continue. After hearing back from educators from Caldwell and Gardner-Webb, I learned that none of these allegations were true. The Hate U Give was only assigned to one 2020 Caldwell High School Honors English class. It wasn't used to teach legal analysis, and no parent complained to the principal. For Dr. Phipps, CRT is not taught in our schools. We follow the North Carolina Standard Course of Study. Then why the anti-CRT request? I attended the August 7th Caldwell Republican Party event, where I heard a county commissioner running for North Carolina Senate call CRT anti-American and divisive. He promised if elected to keep it out of North Carolina schools, and told attendees to demand that the school board and county commissioners make anti-CRT policies, exactly the request at the last board meeting. Creating false narratives around CRT is being used to fearmonger, control curriculum, and political gain. CRT is not an indoctrination being used by teachers, but a legal analysis of how the social construct of race is used to express and exploit people of color, especially African Americans. Anti-CRT policies could result in further omission of the American history of Black Americans and other people of color, the banning of books about people of color and by authors of color in our public schools, even children books, and that's unacceptable. Conversations around CRT and education are inevitable, and having a diverse school board is invaluable. I urge this board to ask Black, Indigenous, Latino, and other county residents of color how omitting their histories in our country would impact them. Their history is American history. It needs to be taught and told with truth, not hidden. I'm ending with a quote from Dr. King. One day, all of God's Black children will be respected like his white children. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Our next person to sign up is Mrs. Lynette Ramsey.
My name is Lynette Ramsey, and I live in Granite Falls. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairwoman, and board members, and Dr. Phipps. I am here to address some of the actions and inactions of the board and the fact that you continually delegate your responsibilities to the superintendent. I'm referring first to the policy that you are going to be discussing later tonight about your mask. You are tasked with developing that policy and voting on it monthly. It's not supposed to be the superintendent that makes this criteria or other people. that looks at criteria and changes this policy as they choose. Statute S-654, that was signed into law on August 30th of this year, gives you the responsibility, the elected official. In this policy, though, you set a positivity rate of 0.05%. However, you add 7 additional criteria. It can be changed any time as conditions warrant. You're not even specifying who can really make those changes. The superintendent, one of the sections actually kind of specifies, talks about it can be changed per classroom. So can the classroom teacher make that call? You're trying to utilize a bait and switch approach with this policy because elections are coming up. You're gonna do just like you did in the August board meeting. You're gonna say, okay, well, we're at a 0.02% tonight, so no mask. Everybody's gonna leave happy, masks are optional, and then next week, you're gonna change the policy or the week after. It's just unacceptable. There's no structure for the kids. One other thing in this policy, you talk about testing. Who's paying for this testing? COVID grants? Where does that money come from? That comes from my pocket, that comes from your pocket. You're using the school toolkit is one of the reasons that I've heard. That's great. So next month, when they change the school toolkit and require vaccinations, are you requiring vaccinations for our students? We didn't elect Dr. Colin. We elected you. We expect you to make those decisions. Another thing that I just want to address real quickly is that I have been seeing some social media posts about some teachers that need some time off. There's a small group of teachers that want you to take this Friday off and maybe the week of Thanksgiving, the whole week, because they need wellness days. Well, you required masks because you feel like kids need to be in school because they need the structure. Well, I think it's kind of a silly idea because now teachers need wellness breaks. Our kids have already lost enough. I'm here to ask you to do the job that you were elected to do. Burke County just did something last week with their school board. They were tired of the inaction and the passing of responsibility. And there's elections coming up, and remember that. Don't do these things just to keep your seat. Do the things that are in the best interest so that you can keep your seat. Because there are other people waiting in the wings to run. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Cam Harmon.
I think that's all.
Okay, so
I didn't hear that name. What was that name?
Cam Harmon. Harmon. Cam Harmon.
Thank you.
Okay, since Cam Harmon is not here, we'll move on to the next. Mr. Brady Soup.
Good evening. My name is Brady Soup, and I live here in Caldwell County. I'm here tonight to ask the board to return to your commitment that you agreed to on July 26th of this year. On July 26th, being informed by the will of the citizens of Caldwell County, this board agreed that face masks would be optional for students for this school year. And I'm here tonight asking you to honor your own decision. Since that time, there have been several concerning events during this school year. There was a Friday evening news dump after just 5 days of the school year. We were told that face masks were the only way to save the year. Then we unreasonably have sent home literally thousands of healthy students for weeks at a time. You have been operating with no policy on face coverings, and that face coverings have been left off the meeting agendas for months. And we have set an arbitrary number of 0.01% to make this metric for our next policy. As you sit here on the board, you represent me. You are not beholden to celebrity bureaucrats in Washington, in Atlanta, in Raleigh. You do not necessarily answer to the myriad of governmental agencies that overlap one another, populated by career bureaucrats and political appointees. You represent me, a father, a citizen of Caldwell County. And I am asking you simply to return to representing me This proposed new face covering policy is too open-ended and ambiguous. There are several options in here that make no sense and have no answers. For instance, on bullet point number 2, why is the board taking a hands-off approach to setting the protocol for testing my children? What about bullet point number 3? What other metrics are we talking about? And what are sort of actions are being told in those metrics that are going to be taken based on these unknown metrics that you haven't laid out? Then there's bullet point number 6 that says when conditions warrant, without giving us any hint of what conditions would warrant what actions or decisions that may be made as listed there. We have no insight to what these things mean. We have no insight as to who's going to make these decisions or what conditions or what metrics are going to be looked at. If I didn't know any better, I would say your idea now is we have to pass the bill to find out what's in the bill. Tonight, my request is simple. Return to the commitment that you as a board made as recently as July 26th of this same year. Take ownership of representing the citizens of Caldwell County and return to the already established decision that face masks are optional for students. Please, free my child's face. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That concludes our public comment period. Thank you for being here. We'll move on with our agenda, and I call on our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Bill Griffin.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chair Branch, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, have before you subject A, human resources used on customary informational items. Those items require no action at this time. Subject B, human resources used on customary action items. These are contracts. I respectfully request the human resources used on customary action items be approved this evening.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the usual and customary items as it relates to contracts according to presentation of Dr. Griffin?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Subject C, human resources used on customary personnel action items. This is our substitute list, and I'm proud to say that we have multiple folks on that substitute list. We continue to add each month to that list, and grateful for those persons that have stepped forward and are representing our schools as substitutes. We're grateful for your service. At this time, I respectfully request a motion to approve human resources used on customary personnel action items as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the human resources usual and customary personnel action items as presented by Dr. Griffin?
I move that we approve the substitute list as presented.
Is there a second?
I
Second.
second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And finally, subject D, November board transfers for 2021-22 school year. Total transfers requested are 12. Total transfers recommended for board approval are 11. Total transfers recommending board approval will be, board approval will be 1, for a total of approved transfers for the 21-22 school year of 1,586. At this point, I respectfully request a motion to approve those November transfers for 2021-22 school year.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the November transfers for 2021-22 as presented?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve the transfers for 2021-22 as presented.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Next, we have Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Dr. Katrina McKellen.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Branch, members of the Board of Education, and Dr. Phipps. I bring 2 items before you tonight for your approval.
The first one are their school improvement plans for the 21-22 school year from the schools here in Caldwell County. So schools in North Carolina are required to submit a school improvement plan to the local Board of Education for review and approval as required by state regulations. Article 8B, School-Based Management and Accountability Program to improve student performance. All schools in Caldwell County use NC Star, an online platform, to manage their school improvement plans. And one benefit of that is it allows everyone, all our stakeholders, students, parents, community members, staff, to view that in real time. A copy of each school's school improvement plan has been included in your board docs, as well as posted or linked to their school website. Schools have 3 to 5 goals in their plans, and this year among the 25 schools, there are 97 goals. Most goals are focused on academics, followed by mental health or social-emotional learning of our students, also increasing educator effectiveness and family engagement. And I respectfully request approval of the 2021-2022 school improvement plans for schools in Caldwell County.
Thank you, Dr. McKellen. Do I hear a motion that we approve the Caldwell County School Improvement Plans of 2021, 2022 that we discussed at our work session last week, which was, what, about 4.5 hours? So do I hear a motion to that effect, that we approve the improvement plan?
Chairman Penland, I move that we approve the school improvement plans for 2021-22 as have been presented.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Any comments or questions? I think we pretty much got those cleared up last week. That being the case, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. My second item this evening is the Caldwell County Schools Strategic Plan for the 2021 through 2024 school years. So every 3 years, the school district creates a strategic plan outlining what we want to do over the next several years. Typically, we would have done that in the summer. COVID kind of pushed our timeline back, so that's why we are bringing it now in November. This is the result of numerous hours of work, analyzing feedback from surveys to various stakeholders, and focus groups, charting our path. Like the school improvement plan, the strategic plan will be posted on the district website for all to see. And I will share that while we have changed some things and kind of refined our vision and our mission, they're all based on core beliefs and the uniqueness of each individual and how we are here to help each individual and all of our students be successful. We are here for our educators. We talk about the shared responsibility of education. It takes the community working with us to help make our students successful. And so we will be creating a dashboard to monitor our achievement, and that will be posted on the website alongside the strategic plan. And I respectfully request your approval for the 2021 through 2024 strategic plan.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the Caldwell County Strategic Plan as presented by Dr. McKellen?
Chairman Penland, make a motion we approve the strategic plan.
Is there a second? Any comments or questions at this point? Once again, we discussed that last week. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McKellen. Next, we have Assistant Superintendent, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. David Johnson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, board members, and Dr. Phipps. I have two memos tonight. The first one is for the State Public School Fund. It's in the amount of $457,091. It includes allotments for the following categories: for school resource officer, school connectivity, and K-8 literacy programs. The second budget amendment that I have tonight is for the Federal Grants Fund, and it is for $4,849,595. It is for federal programs, initial budget for Title I, Title VI-B, and improving teacher quality programs. The total for the federal grants is $31,501,376. Of that number, $23,944,60 is for federal CARES and ESSER funds that we've received for part of last year, and that's where our budget is for these. If these are approved tonight, that'll bring the total budget for Caldwell County Schools to $156,771,334.80. I would like to request that these two amendments be approved as submitted, please.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the budget amendment Amendment 1, State Public School Fund, and budget amendment number 2, which is the federal grant fund, as presented by Mr. Johnson?
I move that we approve both the budget amendments as presented by Mr. Johnson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Any comments? All those in favor, all those in favor? We don't take, this is a board meeting. We can answer your question after the meeting. Be happy to, very much. Absolutely. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, recognize our superintendent, Dr. Don Phipps.
I have two items. Item 10A is the face coverings policy that you all are very familiar with. It has three numbers that are associated with it, 4231, 5021, and 7263. Presenting this to you tonight for approval. There's quite a bit of conversation about it, as you all know. It's a very topic that's of great interest in our community. I feel comfortable saying that I speak for the board that our intent is not to go back and forth and back and forth. And I would like to think that we come out of masks and stay out of masks, but we want to be responsive, and we're trying to work with many folks in our community to do what we feel like is the right thing. But you have that policy before you, and would respectfully request approval.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the policy codes 4231/5021/7253? 63, I'm sorry, for approval. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion that we approve the policies as presented.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Any questions or comments?
I have a comment. A lot has gone into looking at this, and although it may not be the perfect policy, at least we're starting with something. And we're starting with something where we're transparent to the public, at least at a number, so they can see, well, that's why they went back to mask, or that's why they're out of mask. Is it perfect? Probably not. Is COVID and our reaction to COVID perfect? No, it's so fluid, it's crazy. And as we get new directives from the state and stuff, I think that we've done a good job of getting to this point. It may have to be fine-tuned at some point, but at least we're starting with something. So.
Any other questions or comments? And Dr. Phipps, this would go into effect.
If approved as written, we would be mask optional effective immediately, which would start tomorrow. And the only reason that would change would be if the 3-week rolling average were to get above 0.5%, which again, when I say that, I want the public to understand that means that we've got 99.5% of our school student and staff population that did not test positive for COVID in the following week. 99.5, and that's where that number is.
Any other comments or questions?
And the decision to change for a grade level or for a school would involve the health department, our school nurses,
We've had an example is Dudley Shoals Elementary. We had, and Collins, where we've had a grade level where there were either teachers that were out or we had a high number of quarantine, and we needed to either move virtual for a period of time or make some adjustments. Those decisions will be made, certainly as they have been in the past with feedback from you all, and then that decision ultimately made. But I hope we don't have to do anything that changes schedules.
And Dr. Phipps, can we talk about or just explain a little bit more in detail the cluster, and what a cluster really means, based off of our policy and how it would affect a group of people or the entire school or whatever that case may be?
That's a good question. The cluster definition that's in the policy came from the guidance that we're following at the state level. And it's made up of 5 individuals that are connected in some way over a period of time. And so you may have 5 people in a school that test positive, but if they're not connected, it's not necessarily a cluster. The feeling is that if there's an active cluster going on in a school, then we need to be masked for a period of time. So we've said 10 days, which would be, we decided today was 10 calendar days. And then we'll monitor that on a case-by-case basis to see where we are. The comment I think there was some question about 28 days. It's technically considered active for 28 days, but we're looking at a 10-day calendar day window period of time when the mask would be worn, just to ensure that folks are protected. And I'm never going to argue the efficacy of masks one way or the other. There have been lots of pieces of information that have been shared with me, and I know with our board, that masks aren't effective. We've had a lot that have said masks are effective. And I'm convinced that you can find whatever you want to back up whatever your statement is. I do know that those masks have kept students in school because of the way the toolkit's written. And I'll also let you all know that I'm going to advocate that the Department of Health and Human Services and any other group that we have that can look at what we're doing in terms of quarantine would address the number of individuals that we have out that have never had a symptom and have not tested positive. We have many, many students that are out that we feel like should be in school. So we're trying to work between the guidance that we have from the state, the requirements that are in place, and then just general school operation.
Any other comments?
I know what a hot topic this is in the 47 emails or so I went through. It was amazing to me that it's pretty much down the middle. Half of them were for the mask and half of them were from the comments that I had. And even comments I had at church Sunday. I had teachers tell me keep them in mask, and I had students say take us out. So it's, it's just, there's no way to make everybody happy in this situation.
Any other comments? So the motion is to adopt the policy, which encompasses Policy Code 4231, 5021, 7263, as it relates to face coverings. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
With that being said, a recorded call will go out tonight. Our Facebook page, our social media feeds, and our website will reflect a new status indicator to show the public exactly what we're dealing with.
Dr. Phipps, you have another item?
Can we take them off now?
Item 10B on here is the North Carolina School Board Association's Fall 2021 policy updates. You have these. It lists the policy by number and by name. Some are minor adjustments. Others are adjustments in place due to changes either at the state or federal level to make sure that we're in compliance. You have those. What I'm requesting tonight is that these be put up for public comment and public review until we have an opportunity to vote on acceptance.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we allow for review and a public comment period until our next opportunity to decide on these items? Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that we put the revisions up for review till we can be voted on.
Very good, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Phipps.
Thank you.
Next item is closed session. Do I hear a motion that we go into closed session?
Chairman Pennell, make a motion, we're going to closed session.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So we'll be in closed session, and we do not expect any action when we come back. I don't do my, I don't. week if you have an opportunity to get down to the Greensboro meetings. And also Veterans Day and then Thanksgiving coming up pretty soon here. So if don't see you before then, hope everybody has a very happy Thanksgiving. And if there's nothing else, do I hear a motion we adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Here's some of these.